All right, guys, if you don't already, make sure you have out a paper, a pencil, and then anything else you might want to trace or color with later. So it is extremely important that you are starting this with pencil. If you start it with a marker or crayon or something, you cannot erase. Sorry, guys, recording that right as the bell went off. It's not going to work because we're going to have to go in and erase some parts of this to create this three-dimensional look. So we are going to be creating a box on here, and you are then going to, once we finish the box, create what is coming out of it. So I want to make sure my paper is vertical so I have plenty of space to put whatever is jumping out of my box up above it. I'm going to come down towards the bottom, but I don't want to get too close, just to give myself space, and start my box. So first step I'm going to do to make it look like this cardboard box has opened up, I am going to draw the front of the box. And for that, I'm going to draw two vertical lines side by side, and those are going to be the edges of the box. And then I'm going to connect those together. So I'm just making a long rectangle. If you want to use a ruler for this, you're welcome to, though you definitely do not have to. I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit, guys, so we can see some of these details, but you know my paper is vertical on here. Then I'm going to draw, because right here is going to be kind of the inside of the box where we're going to see it. So I'm going to draw the back wall of the inside there. So to do that, because we would actually see the very bottom of the inside of the box, I am going to, up above this, I'm going to draw two vertical lines sticking up from here. And then I'm going to connect them together at the top. Then, so now I have the front edge, the back inside edge of the box, and now I want to connect these together to make the sides of my box. Good. So now I have the box, but to really make this look like a cardboard box, I want those flaps that you would fold down on top to close up the box. I want those falling open like they're bursted out. To do that, I'm going to go to each one of the corners. On my back two corners, I'm going to do a diagonal line coming up like that. The longer you make that line, the bigger that flap is. I'm actually going to make mine just a little longer. And then I'm going to do the same thing kind of off these front two corners here. And then I'm going to connect these together. So those are like the two sides of it. And now we just need to make this front one coming down here. So this is where the erasing is going to become really important to do. So from these front corners, I'm going to draw a line diagonally, but this time it's coming down from each corner. And then I'm going to connect them across with a horizontal line. And this is where I'm going to go back in and erase, because this is like the flap is folded down and it's covering part of the front of the box. So I'm going to erase there. And I'm going to erase right there. So now I have my box drawn, but I'm going to go in and add shading to my box. So I'm going to go in and really help it look three-dimensional. So for that, what I'm going to do is on the front tab here, where this is overhanging and creating a shadow, and on the back tab here, I'm going to do shading that I go vertically, so up and down to kind of shade it. So for me, to help with that, I'm actually going to turn mine to the side. And I'm just really lightly, I'm just kind of doing some soft lines back and forth just to kind of darken that edge. And guys, you can still do this with pencil and then go back in and color over it, because that pencil shading will still make whatever color you use slightly darker than the white of the paper. And I'm going to do the same thing with the front of my box. If you accidentally put some shading into an area you didn't mean to, just go back in and erase it. Best part about pencil. Okay, So once I kind of have the vertical shading there, there and there, on the two sides right here, I'm going to kind of do this diagonal shading that's following the top edge of my box there. And that's just going to help the sides look different, like one's going across and the other going down. So once I have my box drawn, this is where you're going to draw something like it's either popping or it's floating out of this box. Like we open this box and something came out, and that's really where it's your decision. You get to choose what sort of crazy or wonderful thing has been released, popped out of this box. The one thing I really recommend you doing when doing this, though, is creating some dynamic lines. So we'll say if I open this box and a star floated out, it popped right out of the box. So I would draw that kind of up above it. That's why you have all this space up here. So say that's what started. I wouldn't want this just floating here because right now I can't really tell it came from the box. So what I would probably do is draw some lines, and these are kind of called movement or dynamic lines that show kind of the direction that it came from. And that's going to help really add some fun detail or something to my space and to really connect those two objects together. So you guys go through, work on your box and whatever it is, and then color it in. I can't wait to see what sort of things you guys come up with. Have fun.